Well, hello students and welcome back. So last time we went through with charts and graphs on the insert table, right over here where we had all these different charts. Well, what we're going to do now is we're going to do something else that's on the insert table, and that's what's known as sparklines. So first things first, let's give ourselves a new tab or a new sheet or a new page entirely, and let's just go about and copy and paste the data that we had from this previous sheet. Well, first off, let's put our name on it. So, let's put our name. Let's put the date. Let's do all that sort of fun stuff. And you know what? Let's just put our name on here. So, helps when I can actually spell my own name correctly. And we're going to be making some sparklines today, just based on the name there. So, let's just go and let's just copy this. Copy that part right there. So I'll just hit copy. And I'll just paste it right in there. Now, of course, remember, if you ever see anything that looks like, those little dollar signs, sorry, not those dollar signs, those little number signs, those little hashtags, all that means is you don't have enough space to see the information. So, and of course, because we already recommended and changed all those charts and things and formats correctly the first time, it should be pretty much the same thing correctly this time. Now, in this scenario, I'm just going to stretch this down just so you can see visually how these things are going to wind up looking. Let's give it a little bit more. And let's give it a little bit more. There we go. That looks about right. And you know what? I'm just going to stretch the G out this way as well. That should be fine. So, we have ourselves our information that we've already put in. You already know what it is. You've already used it in the last assignment. So, this one's going to be a little bit easier. There's less stuff to take care of because we already have this done mostly. We already have the numbers, we already have a link, we already have all this fun stuff. Let's just go in and we're going to go to Insert. Whoops. Well, first off, make sure you highlight your data that you want to use. Let's go to Insert, and over here is this option called Sparklines. So I'm just going to hit Line. And it'll say, hey, select the range you want in the sparkline. So if I want to, select the range, this is the range I want to use. Boom. I can click down there. And where do you want to place it? You have the stuff that you have selected, and then where you're going to place it. And I'm just going to place it right next to it, and I'll hit OK. And now you'll see it made itself align. Now, the one thing that you should notice between these numbers and this line is that if I change anything, like let's just say I remove that 5, see how the sparkline changed? Yeah, same thing with a graph. If I were to go back to the other page and I say, oh, you know what, they actually had another 7 there. See how all the graphs changed at once? So these will auto-update with your numbers no matter what. So as long as they're connected, they'll auto-update. So here's what a line sparkline looks like. And just like a graph or a chart, a new thing pops up in the ribbon if you have it selected. If I don't select it, it goes away. So let me just click my sparkline, and I'll click the tab for sparkline. And I've got different options. I can edit the data again. I can go and mark the highest point. So there's a high point. Now the high point has a dot. Okay, maybe I can mark the low point. Now the lowest point has a dot. Negative points. There are no negative points, so there's no dots on this. They're positive. But if by any chance this was a negative number instead, then it would have a dot on it. So let me just, first off, let me just change that back to being a positive number, because we don't want that to be a negative. We want it to be an accurate representation of what they got. So let me just get rid of negative. I can mark the first point and the last point, or I can just hit markers and mark every point, which is what I'm going to do. So that's one type of sparkline. So let's do it again. Let's go to Insert, and let's go to Sparkline. But this time, we're going to make a column sparkline. And once again, now this time I have a place where I'm selecting the data, and it says G9 because that's where I was clicking. So now this time it's going to ask me to select the range, and I'll do that, and I'll hit OK. And boom, once again, it gave us a different type of sparkline. But this time, instead of making a line like this, it made bars. It went from there, 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 and there. And that's how it would wind up looking like. Winds up looking like. So, that's a second way to do it. Now, third way to do it would be to just simply go into Insert, Sparkline, Win-Loss. And Win-Loss, it'll have us, we could do the same thing like that, hit OK, and now you'll notice I have things that look like bars, but they're all bars that are going up. This will only have two options, good and bad, up and down, on and off. So if I once again had a negative number here, I would have one thing that goes down in the red, but then the rest would just go up. So if you have any company that's working in the negative numbers of total revenue, then you'll have one that goes down. In this particular case, I did not. Now, key thing you probably want to notice, the numbers have to be next to each other. If there is any space in between, so let's just say I insert a column beside it, you'll now notice there's just a gap. It doesn't understand go to this number to this number. It's going from this number to nothing to that number, and it doesn't understand it. It cannot translate it. There is no line here. It just goes, boop, doesn't exist, boop, doesn't exist, boop, doesn't exist. So make sure your data is right next to each other. And then what you have is you have three working sparklines. If I change any number here, you know, like let's say I just added 2 there, and the things change. Let's just say I put another 0 here. And as you see, the numbers change. Of course, they're all positive, so this bottom one's not changing much at all, but they're all connected, the same way your charts would be connected. So when you're done and you have 3 working sparklines, one in each different type, for your numbers, you know, that you have, please save it and submit it through Moodle, and you have a great day, because you have now gone through a task list, a calendar, a chart, and a sparkline, and we've done pretty much mostly everything in the Home tab, and a good chunk of stuff that's in the Insert tab. We're going to wind up using both those tabs to make your big project. So next week, get ready, because you're going to be making the big project in Excel, your first big project. Thank you very much. You have a great day.